Hello and welcome to the Beauty Know-It-All. I'm here with one of my all-time favourite makeup artists. This is Caroline Barnes of Speed Beauty. And if I'm looking slightly strange, it's because Caroline has set me a challenge. She said to me, well, she always says to me when she sits opposite me at any event, I'd really love to do your makeup. So I said, let's do half a face. This is my normal 5-minute lazy girl everyday face. I've even taped myself down the middle. Caroline is now going to do the other half, and she's going to make me look a damn sight better than I normally do.
The Beauty Know-It-All knows exactly how to prep her skin, so I don't need to go into any kind of skincare at all. But I will just use a tiny little bit of a Decleor facial oil, which is something that I do pretty much before every makeup I do, just around the orbital area of the face. This is at the top of your cheekbone, just around this area. So when you put the base on, it really sits beautifully and hydrated. Not too far in, because that's why we're doing a little bit of concealing, but just on this outer area here. So I'm going to use Max Factor's Miracle Match. Now this foundation comes in 12 shades, and I'm going to be using Soft Honey on Nadine's skin. Now she's got a really warm yellow undertones to her skin. I'm looking at her chest, and I'm going to take this colour up into her face. She's got really even skin tone, but I'm going to be using a little bit of Soft Honey and Warm Almond, just so you don't get a flat finish. So I've got the two shades on my hands, and I always start with the darker shade around the perimeter of the face. Applying it along the jawline here makes me really certain that I've got the right shade, because it all blends in. Her head connects to her neck, connects to her body, so the effect is really natural. So from the perimeter outwards, I just blend in using this foundation brush. I look good, feel better. And it's a really lovely brush because it's quite dense and you can really push the product into the pores of the skin.
When I interview makeup artists, this is how they do contouring most often. They don't actually use really, really dark powders. They use 2 shades of foundation.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
shades.
such a professional tip, it's brilliant.
So by using the lighter colour just around this triangle underneath the eye, you add a real lovely natural dimension to your skin. You don't leave the skin looking flat. Adding the 2 colours together makes it look a little bit more real. Now with Nadine's skin, I'm really dancing the brush over her skin. I'm not going to overload her skin with makeup, because that will just make the skin look, 1, made up, and 2, it will slightly age the skin if you put too much product on it.
And I just think it looks really flattering. It looks like your skin, but perfect, but it doesn't look like heavy makeup.
Great.
That's what I think what most women want.
Absolutely. So to concealer, use an anti-aging concealer under the eyes, and I love this by Terry Denseless one. 1, because it sits beautifully under the eyes, it's hydrating, and it doesn't move, it stays put all day. I'm using that in number 2. Now this is actually a much lighter colour to Nadine's skin tone, and that's really important, emphasising the point of just lightening the T-zone area of your face to give it dimension. Don't use the same concealer under your eyes as you do on the side of your cheeks. And secondly, just for a very small part of Nadine's face, because she does have incredible skin, I'm going to be using Hourglass's Vanish Stick. Now it's not necessarily a concealer, but it layers up beautifully, and I love this product. Now I'm taking it out of the tube. You would just direct it straight onto your eyes, but just because I use it on lots of different people, I like to apply it with a brush. Now the key with this product, and anything that's slightly light reflecting or anti-aging, look at the motion of my brush. I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing, and I want the light reflecting ability of this concealer to sit on the skin. If I sweep, sweep, sweep with my brush, I'm just going to move it. I'm just going to move it to the outer area of the eye, and I want it to stay just in this area. So it's really important that if you apply it with a sponge, apply it to the area, let it set for a second, and then push it in with the pad of your finger or the flat of your brush and leave it. Simple as that. If you do this kind of motion, you'll just move it and it won't be able to bounce the light back. So then I'm going to take the Hourglass shade, and I'm using Warm Ivory. It's a slightly different brush because I don't want anything to have any light reflecting particles in it. And this is slightly heavy, and it's just literally around Nadine's nose.
Any areas of redness, yeah.
Any
and if I had a
areas of
spot,
redness.
you'd use that on a spot, would
Correct.
you? Yeah.
So before I do any powder, I'm going to use my favourite cream blush. This is Max Factor's Soft Copper, and I basically use it on everyone. It's a lovely, warm product that really neutralises any redness in the skin, acts as a real soft, gentle face shaper. I'm going to apply it with a Real Technique setting brush, which I've got hundreds of these, and I just want a small placement of colour. Now, where I see Nadine's cheekbones are just here. I'm just going to add a little bit of warmth. Where you see I've applied that concealer around the orbital area of her eye, you want to make sure that you don't push your blusher into that area of the eye, because you'll just ruin that lovely highlight you've created.
Now you use a particularly small blusher brush, exactly for that reason, don't you? Because you want to keep the application really precise.
It's about bespoke application with your concealing, with your highlighting, with the colour. A normal powder brush or bronzer brush is far too big because you just put the product all over the face.
That's what I normally do.
So just by adding very gently, you can see the colour just giving that lovely warmth to her skin, and it looks really soft and really sophisticated. And that's just it, just this area here. Do not bring your blusher right underneath your face unless you're going for a very natural glow, but we're going for something really soft and classy. Now she's looking obviously really hydrated and glossy. Now we need to knock back some of that shine. I'm going to be using a powder called Jalique. It's called Rose Silk and it smells divine. I'm going to be applying it with a tapered brush. Now the reason I'm applying it with a tapered brush is because I don't want to get the powder flat everywhere. I'm rolling the powder within my brush, and I'm just going to layer it and just twist it into the T-zone areas of her face very lightly over the inner corner of the eye, just to set the concealer in between the brows and underneath the chin. If you have these areas mattified, the rest of your skin can glow, and that literally gives that lovely illuminated effect to your skin without you even doing any strobing or any extra highlight at all. It's that lovely glossy finish from the oil, the cream blush, and you just dust back that powder and you get that lovely soft effect. The less powder that you can use, the better. It's about putting the powder in the right places.
And can I just say, this powder is a real insider secret. I can't tell you how many makeup artists who work on the red carpet and at the Oscars use it. They love it.
Yeah, because it's a real feel-good factor, isn't it, when you have something applied to your skin that smells nice. And I love rose.
But it's super fine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super fine, and there's no kickback at all, and it's not too heavy on the skin. You don't have to work it in. To get a much more, if you've got oilier skin, use this powder, but just use it with a puff and really push it into the skin. Puffs are very underused, I think. I love a puff. So hopefully, Nadine, you can see that where you've applied your blusher just across your cheek, I've applied it over your cheekbone and given you a kind of very subtle uplifting effect. And the gloss is really, really fresh on your cheekbone, and it's only an oil. So Nadine loves a very natural soft brow, so I'm going to use a powder over a kohl. I'm going to apply it with a very thin angled brush just to create and mimic lots of fine hairs. But I'm taking the intensity of the brow shape from the top to give lift. I'm not pulling the darkness of the brow underneath. If you take the brow dark underneath, you will actually bring it down and close your eye. So to set the brows, I'm going to be using Ready Set Brow. And this is a great product to keep your brows in place. And you can see the effect of just putting the darker shade of the brow colour on top of her brow rather than all over her brow, the lifting effect it creates. You do your makeup really beautifully, you always have done. But as a makeup artist,
There's a but coming.
you look at people's different faces and think, oh, if you just did that. And it's always the little tiny, tiny things. It's not maybe a different product or, wear a red lip. It's just those tiny little adjustments that can make a big deal to your face. And what I want to do with your eyes is bring them out more. And by using a liner all the way over your eyelid, which is great, I love a liner, but I want to soften the thickness of the line on the inside here. So the first third of your eye is going to be super, super thin. I'm going to use an eyeliner that's actually 1.5 millimetre, the Hourglass one. It's really, really tight. And the final effect should mean that your eyes look much more wide apart. So I'm just going to be using the Topshop stick in matte to create a really nice soft definition to your eye shape and bring it up into the socket with a clean brush. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Hourglass 1.5, and if you just look to your right for me, Nadine, I'm just going to pull up. Now, to go into your right really helps me get right in close to the lash line because you're stretching your skin for me, so you don't get that bumpy line. I'm just going to use this line really super tight, which makes it very easy. Doesn't matter if it goes a little bit wobbly because we're going to blend it just across your lash line, and you can push it in between. Pull the eye and just very gently with a very tiny Muji bud, I'm just going to push that colour in there. Open for me? Great. So now I've got the definition on the inner corner of her eye there, and that's all we need there. And I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs gel liners, the highliners, and I'm going to connect this in to the Hourglass and pull it out. Just open your eye for me. Now, I always love to look at my clients from their profile and see where it needs to be lifted, and a little smudge underneath because we're going for that extension on the outside. Look up for me. So really pulling out here, a little V shape on the outside, cleaning up under the socket there. And it's lovely how all the textures of the cream shadow that I put over her lid first, and then the liner starts smouldering into each other, so you get much more of a wash than you do a hard line. Once you've got that wash, then you can go in for the intensity. So the secret of beautifying an eye is to make sure that the intensity of the colour, the darkness and richness of the colour comes from the root out. So I've done my two little eyeliners, and it might seem a bit fiddly, but I'm just going to go in with my beloved RMK gel liner with a 3.4 brush from Kitco. And again, I'm going to pull it up, and this is black, so it's stronger than Nadine would use. She normally loves her sort of chocolate browns. But I'm just pushing that right into the bed of the lash so we get a nice thick root. And open for me, Nadine. And again, just on the outside from the profile.
And you're only doing that on the outer third
outer
half of the eye?
Yeah.
So as not to make me
exactly.
do that.
So we've got that real intensity of the inky black on the outside smouldering into a chocolate brown, going into something much more fine and delicate. And just taking that underneath. And the gels are great because they dry very quickly and stay and put, as opposed to a very soft kohl, which is great for a waterline. So I'm happy with that so far. I'm going to pause and I'm going to go into the mascara. So first I'm going to curl your lashes, all right? Now I'm not going to pinch until you say it's comfortable. Comfortable?
Yeah.
Great. And this really helps to lift the lashes, especially in the centre of the lid. If you can see the tips of your lashes, then you really widen out your eyes. I'm going to start the mascara on the lower lashes. I'm going to get Nadine to look up. I'm just going to be using the tip of the wand. Now you always need 2 coats, I feel, to get a really great lash. The mascara layers up beautifully on lashes that already have mascara placed on them. So 1 coat first and then go in for the 2nd coat. And the tip is nice and fine, so you get to catch all the really fine hairs. And those hairs on the inner corner and outer corner of your eyes are really important because they make your eyelids so much bigger.
I think that's the mistake I make with my mascara.
What?
You just don't concentrate on those inner and outer lashes, and they make a real difference when you just take that little bit of extra time.
So look down for me. So I'm really going to push the wand, you can probably feel it quite wet, against the root of your lashes. And it's really key to build the mascara from the root of your lashes. And then just pulling it through very lightly, get lots of mascara at the root. And look to your left for me. Really get into these corner ones. And then because we want to really accentuate Nadine's eyes on the outer side, we're going to really wing the lashes out. When applying mascara, you have to make sure that you see the tips of your lashes to make your eyes look big. If you do a liner that's too thick, you can't see the tips of your lashes, so make your liner smaller. You can see the tips of your lashes, it really opens out your eyes. So let's now do the lips. Right, just to finish off, I'm going to be using Honey Lacquer by Max Factor. Really beautiful pigmented lip lacquers.
I love that colour.
This shade is Honey Nude. Okay, take a look.
Okay, so we originally entitled this Half Face Makeup.
Right.
It's Facelift makeup. What Caroline's done is used colours that I'm comfortable with. And can you see how this side is just lifted? So it's my face but better.
Great, so you love it.
I love it. Don't make me recreate it though. Can I just put you in my makeup bag from now on? Okay, so originally we said we were going to do a half face, but actually what you've given me is a facelift in makeup. And this is how clever a truly brilliant makeup artist is. Little things that look similar to the way I do them, done subtly differently. The lashes, the liner, the cheek, the lip. It's literally taken years off me. And I was a bit skeptical, and I'm completely... Yeah, I was. But I'm completely sold. You need to follow her channel. It's Caroline Barnes Speed Beauty, and she specialises in 60-second breaks that just give you these hints and tips done really quickly.
Oh,
and
thanks.
Look at that. I've had a facelift in 5 minutes from Caroline Barnes.